Good morning. My name is Salvatore Cavalieri. I am ahead 3 minutes. Please raise your hand if you can listen to my voice, please. One hand. Okay, more hands coming up. Excellent. So let's wait 2 more minutes for the rest of the participants to join us. And thank you for joining. Thank you. Let's do another voice check. Please raise your hand if you can listen to my voice, please. Okay, it's exactly noontime in the United States on the East Coast. My name is Salvatore Cavalieri with the Cavalieri Group. I would like to welcome everybody that is joining me for this webinar that we're creating about wealth, multifamily wealth, and how to make that grow. Okay, some of the people that are going to join us, some are experienced investors, some of them are studying. It doesn't matter. The important thing is we're going to learn through the presentation, and at the end you will have the opportunity to email us or contact us with questions. Hopefully we have time. It's only 20 minutes. I know that your time is very valuable. Okay, so today the star is going to be a duplex that is in Fort Lauderdale. So if the address is 5 Northeast 16th Court in Fort Lauderdale. It's an amazing duplex. Okay, so I'm gonna get to that. So while we talk about it, let me play a video of the property. Okay, so you will be able to see drone pictures that we captured. You're going to be able to see exterior photos and also interior photos. Okay, so while that is going on, I'm gonna chat a little bit with the people participating. So I would like to thank people from New York joining us, New Jersey, Mexico, Fort Lauderdale, Tampa, Orlando, and I'm sorry if I missed any other city, but thank you for joining me on this phone call. Okay, let me walk you how it's going to be in this 20 minutes. So right now we are going through the introduction of the presentation for you guys. And now then we're going to show you this video, which we're going to give you a quick overview of this property, which is very special. And I'm going to mention why it makes this property very special. Okay. And then we're going to talk about the overall general financials of the property. And then we're going to dig deeper into why this could be a great investment for you when you buy this multifamily. Okay, So with all that said, well, I am your host. I am Salvatore Cavalieri. Um, I've been in the business of real estate since 2002, so you can figure out how many years is that. Basically, most of the business I've done, it is in the multifamily business, buying, selling, improving those kind of properties for myself and also for the investors. So if you look behind me, you will be able to see some of those properties that we did, okay? So in total will be over 45 to 60 different properties that we have done. So that qualifies me well as not only as a realtor because I am part of the Remax family, but also as an investor. So I look at things like in a practical matter. I look at things well hands-on. I've been there. I've been in the trenches. I know what is to own and operate a multifamily. I know what is cash flow or lack of. I know tenancy issues or not. But anyhow, so that qualifies me well to give you a synopsis of this property. And at the end of this conversation today, hopefully you're going to make a decision to buy or put an offer in this amazing duplex in Fort Lauderdale. Okay, so let me share now another screen that we have here. There we go. Okay, very good. Before I dig into the property, I would like to mention something. We receive a lot of phone calls from investors all over. And we are seeing a serious track into more people from the north of the United States moving permanently into Florida, okay? So New York, New Jersey, and in less degree, Connecticut. Families in the past and investors in the past used to have a foot here in Florida and another foot in New York. Well, now it's accelerating to have the whole 2 feet in Florida rather than in New York. So in the past 2 or 3 weeks, we kind of expected this to happen, but we didn't expect the volume of people from New York, not only bringing their business down or trying to sell their assets over there, but also trying to invest here, looking for schools for their kids, buying residential real estate. So in the scope of things, at least in South Florida, in Central Florida, because we have 2 offices, we are seeing an uptick in activity. We are not seeing a people shying about not investing. No, they are taking the steps forward. They're calling. They're getting the information. They are getting the information from also from the lenders. They're trying to do everything they can to start their businesses here. So that's a tendency that we're seeing speed up in the last 2 weeks from people from New York. Okay, so let's go into this lovely property. Now, there is something very particular about this duplex. Generally, duplexes are either a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, or a 2-2. This particular one is a 5 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Each unit, because we have 2, and is unheard of, okay? It is unheard of to have that kind of a layout inside the property, okay? So let's look at some of the general guidelines, general information about the property. The asking price is $599. Under AC, you have about 2,800 square feet under AC. 2 units, of course. It was built in 1975. It has 2-story, plenty of parking for everyone there. Okay. Now, another interesting thing about this particular property, it is that is currently fully rented, is 0 vacancy. Okay, 0 vacancy rate. So it is fully rented and is rented to a rehab center. So the income that the property is producing, it is practically guaranteed. So each unit right now is producing $2,400 of income per unit. So 2 units will be 4,800. This does not include about $300 to $400 per month in additional income because of the laundry. Anybody getting into the business of multifamily owning, you have to have a laundry in your facility. It is a cash cow, and this property has that. Okay, so not only we have very large units, fully rented, rent almost guaranteed. Okay, and also you have a additional income coming from the laundry machines that they have in the property. Okay, the location of the property is in Fort Lauderdale. Okay, very well situated north of the airport, and also very well situated in terms of communications and jobs. Fort Lauderdale is a city that is growing, and the location is prime for jobs, highways, and of course some tourism that goes very near to the beach, which is about 2 or 3 miles away from there. Okay, so this property is very unique in that sense. Okay, so let me share with you now a third screen, and the third screen will be the deeper financial analysis of this property. Okay. Okay, so this property clearly is fully rented, is generating $4,800 of income per month. Okay, it also has expenses. The interesting about this property as well is that the owner only pays for taxes and insurance. Everything else is paid by the tenant. Okay, has separate electric meters and separate water meters. So the landlord, you know, or you, if you move ahead and purchase this property, you won't have to incur those expenses. So you worry on a regular basis as an operational expense will be to pay taxes and insurance like I just mentioned. Okay, so let's look at a deeper financial analysis of this property. So first of all, let's analyze the zip code where this property sits. As you know, not all zip codes are the same, and not all zip codes have had the same track record. Let's look at this particular one. This zip code for this property, I'm going to highlight it here. It is 33305. 33305. So with this tool that we have in the office, and I'm going to sidetrack for 30 seconds, we have managed, bought, and sold so many multifamilies that we created a tool called the Wealthmaker Calculator, that the only job of this calculator it is to give you in about 3 to 5 minutes a good synopsis if the property is worth buying or not. Okay, typically if you do this by pencil and paper, you're going to miss data. You won't be able to project growth. You won't be able to project different things that can happen along the way, like repairs. So the calculator is smart enough to be able to project the purchase of a multifamily from now until 9 years. Okay, more than 9 years will be seriously speculating. Okay, and we don't like to speculate. So with all that said, let's look at the fair market value. For the past 12 months, this particular zip code has grown 2.7% and is expected to continue to grow at 1.6%, taking into account that some things have changed and still some adjustment going around in the country. Okay, but this analysis was based on half of that historical growth. So instead of 1.6%, we used 0.8% to be super conservative. Okay, that's the equity appreciation. Okay, because the way you create wealth in real estate is not only through cash flow, but some properties don't make cash flow. You make the money through the equity appreciation, to buying and holding the property for a certain number of years. Okay, so that's the equity part of the equation. Let's look at rent. Okay, let's look at rent. For the past 12 months, rent has increased at 3.1%, okay? In the last 12 months, rent has increased 8.2%. But we use for the analysis a growth rate of rent alone, 4%. Nowadays, a lot of people will not be able to buy. Banks have changed their base benchmark of requirements. Now they're asking for more paperwork, for a stable job for a longer period of time. So banks have cut the ability to fund projects or to fund people to buy and live. Therefore, multifamilies or rental properties, we believe strongly that they're going to keep on growing in value because there is a need. There is a serious need to live in a property. But for this analysis, to be very conservative, we used only 4%. Okay? So the calculators is mad enough. If this property would have been in any zip code in the United States, this number would have been different, the 33005, and these numbers would have been different. Okay? Because not all zip codes are the same. Anyway, so now that we understand that part, okay, which was important to dive into the final numbers, and I have a candy for you at the end, which is a financial candy, which I'm gonna keep you there on the edge of your seats. I'm gonna tell you pretty soon. So let's look at assumptions. We assume there's gonna be a 5% vacancy, 5% cost of management the property. The inflation is going to be 2%. The monthly rent is going to be a monthly rent collection. And one day, you're going to hold this property, and then one day you're going to sell it. Well, typically when you sell it, you have to pay agents and you have to pay other costs, 7%. Pretty soon we will be able to have in the calculator also the school ratings and the crime ratings of the different areas. Okay, so let's look at the investment analysis. By the way, the numbers here run are not based on future rent, like many analyses are done. This is actually done on actual rent being collected. So this is very conservative. So you can see that not only the rent is being calculated at what it is today, but also the growth rates have been cut in half, you know, to be super conservative. Okay, so a lot of investors call us, and the number they always look at is cap rate. Well, the cap rate for this property is 7.2% right now. But as you owned the property for a longer period of time, you know, it goes up 7.2, 7.6, 7.9, 8.7, 9.5, and 10.4. The calculator throws to you a series of ratios, very important, but because time is precious today, I will just dive to the most important one. But some of the ratios are very important for your lender. So if you're gonna discuss to a lender, you know, a loan to buy this property or any other investment property, they're gonna be looking at, you know, other ratios like debt coverage ratio, just to give you an example. So this property is at 72% right now with real numbers, not with fictitious numbers, or it's gonna be like that if you fix it and all that. By the way, you saw the video and the property is in very good condition. It's very well maintained, okay? So we have that. So monthly rent is gonna be $4,800 per month, year one. But then on year two, you're gonna increase rents, okay? And you have, you know, 2 units, and we calculated the growth rate to be here in this percentage at 4%. So rent is gonna increase on average of 4%, which we're being, my sincere opinion, very conservative. So here you're gonna see the projection of how much rent you're gonna be collecting. Cash flow, first year, this is for the first year, 14,288, and keeps on growing, okay? And again, these are conservative numbers, okay? Income, total annual gross rent, 57,600, keeps on going. It's gonna grow up until 79,454 in year 9, okay? Then, as you can see here, we discounted vacancy rate because you may have some units empty, management, other expenses, etc., okay? Now, like I mentioned before, the way you build a wealth in real estate, it is by holding the property. And also, by the tax advantages. And here comes the disclaimer. Please consult with your CPA. It's very important. Every person is different. We get phone calls from people in very high tax brackets, and maybe slightly different for them. But for you looking and listening to this webinar, look at this. Wealth accumulation. Cash flow accumulated is $14,000. Mortgage amortization is $6,000. Equity appreciation, it is $4,000. Total well accumulated in year one is about $25,000. But let's look here. Let's look at the tax advantages. Depreciation. Depreciation is something that the IRS code allows you to do, to depreciate the property in an X amount of years. This duplex, because it's 2 units, falls into a more accelerated way to depreciate, which is 27.5 years. So on a yearly basis, just the depreciation will allow you to deduct an additional $19,000 from the taxes, okay? Then you have interest deductions, $22,000, net operating expenses. So you have additional expenses that you can deduct $60,000 to $1,000. Depending on your tax situation, this may help you more or less, but it is going to always help you, okay? Now, it is extremely important to note that this analysis was based on a mortgage of 25%. So you will be putting down 25%, and there will be a mortgage. Now, here comes the candy. Get ready. The owner, the seller, is willing to do, owner financing. Terms are flexible. It depends on you now. Seller, he is requiring 25% down. Interest rate, he's flexible. In terms of payment, is also flexible. So with all that said, I would like to thank you for participating in this webinar. Please contact us. I'm gonna paste our information here in the chat pretty soon, so you can contact us and have any other questions for us. So please take a look at this property very closely. It's not going to be it's not going to be available for too long. And I would like to thank you for being with us today, this morning. My name is Salvatore Cavalieri, and Cathy Cavalieri with the Cavalieri Group at RE/MAX. Thank you. Have a nice day.